Hey everyone, this is David. It's been a while since I did my last blog post, so I want to take this opportunity to answer some questions that I found on our social media. So Stone Willow on Mother's Day had asked, has Yarima been back to the U.S. since she left? Is she planning to visit next year or return for the good? So she has not been back to the United States since she left in 1992. And she is planning to visit next year when I return from my next expedition. And will it be for good? Well, that's up to her. But I'm going to have to say probably not for several reasons. One of them is that she's from the Amazon. That's her home. This is where she grew up. That's the world she knows. And the other is that the visa that allows her entry into the United States is only good for 6 months. So that's probably going to be the extent of her stay. Sheila Spiker had asked, what does your mom tell the Yanomami when they ask about the outside world? And what does she say? Is it positive, negative? Does she think the Yanomami will benefit from more integration to the outside? These are good questions, awesome dialogue questions for good conversation around the fire. But we'll probably have to hold off until she gets here to answer that. But I can tell you that from the past, I've heard that mom doesn't really talk too much about the outside world to the Yanomami because it'd be difficult to provide context for what she's trying to convey. How do you, to a culture, that's the Amazon rainforest is all they know, what kind of context can you provide when you're trying to describe flying in an airplane or driving in a car, walking down the mall, turning on the faucet for running water, electricity, people walking by you by the hundreds in a city. So it can be difficult. Is it positive? Is it negative? I'm sure some is positive, so I'm sure some is negative. Does she think the Yanomami will benefit from more integration? Well, some of those things are pretty, some of the benefits of the integration are pretty straightforward to them. Like, for example, I am from the outside world and I'm integrating myself into the village, and I serve as a resource for pots and pans and machetes and fish hooks and fish line and medicines and things that they really, really want. But I'm also kind of wary of the consequences of that integration. If access, let's say for example, roads were built or something and access to that area was made easier, I'd be worried about introduced diseases and conflicts and confrontations with outsiders. Is there any other contact with Venezuelan institutes? Are they uninterested? Is there any kind of effort to support these communities? This was asked by Ana Karine on Facebook. And yes, there are plenty of Venezuelan institutes that are highly interested in helping the Yanomami with their education needs, with their healthcare needs, their various healthcare initiatives. So there are support groups that are out there to help the Yanomami of all kinds and of various integrations in contact with outsiders. And I hope as a Yanomami Venezuelan American that I can partner up with some of these groups so that I can work with them and be able to be in a position to help them and to learn from the Yanomami, because by helping them and learning from them, learning more about my ancestral heritage. And then lastly, Alexander Ostos asked if what I know about Yopo and the importance of singing and shamanism. So I'm not an expert in shamanism or Yopo, but I did take it once. It was okay. I didn't quite find the spirit world, but maybe on my next trip I will. So I'll refer to other anthropologists that have studied and done research on Yanomami Wayamols and cultures and shamanisms, and so one of them is an article that I just recently read by Dr. Jose Antonio Kelly Luciani, and he wrote an article on Yanomami ceremonial dialogues, and it's a very interesting article. You would have to read it through a few times, I think, to follow along if you're not trained in anthropology, but he writes an article on the ceremonial dialogues that are as a ritualized form of verbal exchange and aimed at inter-community conflict resolution. So I think that would be a cool topic. And this is an open source article that I'll post on the website, so you're more than welcome to go on our website at jointhegoodproject.com. feel free to browse around and look at the other work that we're doing. So that's it for now. Please send me more comments, questions, and in my next video I'm going to provide some updates on my upcoming expedition to the Amazon to see my mom. Thanks.